Aloha and welcome to I Think I'm Gonna Uke. I'm Tony and I'll be teaching you a few new chords today, especially if you're learning the ukulele or just haven't picked it up in a long time. So today we're going to learn the D major chord and the A major chord, as well as the A minor chord. Now if you've watched some of the other videos, and I'll put a link up here, you probably already learned some of the other common chords, such as the C major, the F major, and the G major. So if you're a little rusty or if you want some more practice, just go ahead and click on the link above and you can practice those. So today we're going to learn the D major and the A major and also the A minor. So go ahead and grab your uke, tune it up. You can click the link if you need help how to tune it. And let's get started. So today we're going to learn the D major chord and the A major and A minor. So the way to play the D major chord, there's a couple different finger positions. I want to show you one way that I recommend to my students is, even though you just need to hold down the second, third, and fourth string all on the second fret, you might be tempted, you can try your first, second, and third finger, but depending for sure on the size of your fingers, and maybe even on the size of your ukulele, like if you have a soprano, the fret space is pretty small. So a thing that I suggest is, instead of using your first, second, and third, try your second, third, and fourth finger, because your pinky is smaller, and plus you can squeeze these three fingers together much tighter. So place your second, third, and fourth fingers on the second string, third string, fourth string, all on the second fret. There you go. And there's the D major chord. Now, some people, depending on your fingers, if you have kind of short, stubby fingers, you might try this using your first finger and press down on the second, third, and fourth string all at the same time to play a D major. For some people, that feels a little bit more comfortable. Now, remember, if you want to try this way, you may need to shift your thumb from the middle to the very back of the ukulele, so that way you can kind of pinch it and get the right pressure. Because remember, when you're learning any new chord or anything you're playing, if you hear this kind of dead and mute sound, then that lets you know that you're not pressing the strings down hard enough. You need to press them just hard enough where you hear a clear note ring out. You don't need to press it any harder than that, because you're not going to get extra notes. And the other thing is, when you're playing any chord, you want to play and put your fingers as close to the fret bar as you can without actually touching it. Because if you go a little bit too far where you're right on the fret bar, you'll hear that buzzing sound. And that lets you know, okay, I'm too close to the fret bar. But you want to get as close as you can without touching it. That way your chords sound nice and clean. It's easy to play. Now the next chord I want to show you is the A major chord. So the A major chord only takes two fingers for the ukulele. So if you place your first finger, your number one finger, on the third string on the first fret, and then your second finger on the fourth string on the second fret, that's an A major. Now you can switch, it may take a little bit of practice, but you can switch back to the D major chord. Neat little other chord that you find that's in between a D and an A is the A minor chord. This also comes up a lot, the A minor chord, where you actually just need one finger. You just use your second finger to play the A minor chord. Now the reason I definitely recommend using your second finger, even though yes, you can use your one finger to play the A minor chord, but the reason I want to show you how to play it, or it's best to play it with your second finger for the A minor chord, is because a lot of times the A is going to come up between the C chord when you're playing or the A major chord. And now when you're shifting between the C major, which you need your third finger for, and the A major, which is here, you'll notice your second finger often appears right in the middle. Okay, so it's going to help you later on by getting good habits and good practices by using your second finger to play the A minor chord, just like that. Whoops. So it's going to help a lot to use your second finger to play the A minor chord. So when you're switching from a C to an A, or if you can play. So another tip that I wanted to show, and a question I often get from beginning ukulele students, is how can I change chords faster? Because one, your hand has to learn, your brain has to learn, so it does take time. That's the whole point of practice, is you'll be able to change chords quicker the more and more you practice. But there are some tips. For example, when you're playing different chords, one of those chords often repeat back and forth, so you already know what's the next chord that's coming up, especially in a song. You can hear the chord change. And if you're playing a C major chord and you're going to switch to an F major chord, if you think about it, a thing that I always tell new ukulele players is to picture where your fingers are right now, what chord they're playing, and at the chord change, what's the next chord that you need to play, and what fingers do you need and where they need to be. So for example, if you're playing a C major chord and the next chord coming up is an F major, this is why if you're playing the C major with your third finger, so you don't need your other fingers, so they're kind of free floating around, go ahead and you can put your fingers, kind of hover them over the strings for the F major. So don't touch the strings yet, but you can kind of hover your fingers over the F major position already, and then when it's time to change the chord, you just have to press those two fingers down and lift up your third finger from the C. Then you can play it quicker and quicker. It does take practice, and you should practice every day. And so when you think about different chords, such as the G major chord to the C major, because the G major chord, you need 3 fingers to play this one. You just need your third finger to play the C major chord. So if you picture the position that your fingers are in right now for a G major, when you go to C, you just need that one finger, and it's right next door. It's just one string down. So really, you're just picking up your first and second finger and just sliding that third finger down one string. So you don't need to make big movements. You don't need to take your hand or your fingers off the neck and then back on. When you're switching from a G and then back. So when you're switching from a C back to a G, the same principle. Put your fingers already in the right position, just hovering over the string. And then when it's time to change, you just push down on the first and second finger, and you just have to shift your third finger one string. So when you start to picture it this way, you realize, oh, okay, the chord changes, there's not as much movement with my fingers as I need to. So you want to try to minimize the amount of movement that you need, and that definitely helps in changing chords quicker. So little tips like this really help beginning ukulele players. Now eventually, after you practice quite a bit, you won't even have to look at the neck of the ukulele, and you can just change anytime you want. So I hope these tips really help you kind of get a practice routine and really help you enjoy and love the ukulele. So if you enjoyed this video, please click like and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you can get notified when we post new videos. And leave a question or a comment in the comment section. Whether you have a question about how to play a certain song or a chord, or maybe you're also having trouble switching chords, and just let us know what you're having trouble with or any questions, and we'll be more than happy to help you. Well, see you next time. Thanks for watching.